Hello, it's been a while and welcome to today's video. In our previous videos, we have talked about Sarah Bahatman, whose humancas behind was sexualized and her body was retained in Europe until the intervention of Nelson Mandela to bring it back to Africa. We have talked about Wangu Makeri, Muthoni Nyanjiro, who were all Kikuyu heroines for several reasons. We also discussed about the dance that cost President Moi his marriage. We talked about the Zong massacre, Mansa Musa. We talked about Patrice Lumumba, Mobutu Sese Seko, the ongoing war in DRC, and King Leopold II. And without further ado, let's discuss about something else. We are going to handle something about the Congo Kingdom. And when I'm talking about the kingdom, I'm not talking about the DRC, that is the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I'm not talking about the Congo Brazaville. The Congo Kingdom was comprised of the DRC, the Congo Brazaville, Angola, and Southern Gabon. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, let's welcome Kimpa Vita! Kimpa Vita was a lady. She was born in a royal family and her name can be spelled different depending on where one comes from. Some call her Kimpa Vita, others call her Kimpa Vita, others call her Simba Vita, and yet others call her Simba Vita. She was born in 1684 in the Congo Kingdom, and her father was a regional commander in the king's army. So, what was so special about Kimpa Vita that we have to discuss her in this video? Just wait, sit back, and follow up to this end. Kimpa Vita was born at a time when the Congo Kingdom was disintegrating and falling apart due to the influence of the Portuguese. She would be brought up in the African context, but due to the influence of the Portuguese in the kingdom, she would be baptized and given the name Dona Beatriz. After the baptism of Kimpa Vita, she would become possessed by some spirits. I am emphasizing on these spirits because they have a huge impact on the flow of this video. After the baptism, Kimpa Vita would claim that she would see angels, spirits, and her ancestors in her dreams. She would even take part in playing with them. Where are we going on with this video? Just wait. Due to these constant dreams or claims, the locals would call her Nganga Marinda. It's what some people call prophets or prophetess, depending on one's sex. One of Kimpa Vita's aunts, called Mama Mafuta, would believe Kimpa Vita's dreams or claims. In 1702, Kimpa Vita would take on to stay with her aunt. I'm talking about Mama Mafuta. And this reminds me, Mama Mafuta in Swahili means someone who maybe sells oils. It could be cooking oil or body oils. So I don't know where we're going on with this, but I digress. Kimpa Vita stays with her aunt Mama Mafuta, and the two would go on to tell their people to go back to their original gods, whom they called Tatanzambia Mpungu. At this time, Kimpa Vita was only 18 years old. She would revere how Mama Mafuta preached with so much energy. And by this time, Mama Mafuta was 65 years old. Her age was advanced. One day, Kimpa Vita became ill. It was a short illness because she proceeded to die. As it was the norm, the society would gather. They would start to arrange how she would be buried. But there was a catch. Kimpa Vita's father, I have told you earlier, he was a regional army commander. He was not around, so they had to wait. During that time, means of communications were not advanced as is today. so they had maybe to send a messenger, but he was in a far away land. So what they had to do was to wait. They waited for 1 day, they waited for 2 days, and on the third day they had to go on with the burial in his absence. Before they buried her, something strange happened. She stood up alive. Yes, you heard it right. She woke up from her death and sat down. She went on to ask the people who were burying her, "Why do you want to bury me alive?" She went on to explain to the people how her ancestors' spirit came over her. She was taken into a city in the skies and she was given visions about the future of the Congo Kingdom. Later on, the spirit would take her back into earth, and that is how she resurrected. As usual, the African spirit had to be tamed, and the spirit that Kimpa Vita was claiming was renamed Saint Anthony of Padua. In Kimpa Vita's argument, the spirit wanted her to unite the Congo Kingdom. Kimpa Vita also argued that the spirit told her that the Congo Kingdom had to appoint a king, after whom she would bless. But that could not happen because, according to the Portuguese influence, it was only the Catholic Church that could bless the newly appointed king. According to her claims, Jesus Christ was born in part of the Congo Kingdom called Nsundi. He would be baptized in Mbanza, Congo, and his mother, Mary the Virgin, was a slave to a Congo Marquis. But the biggest loggerheads with the church arose when Kimpa Vita asked the church, why was Jesus, the angels, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, all white? Since she had a position in the church and had customized the preaching to fit in the African context, the church felt that it was time to excommunicate Kimpa Vita from the church, and if possible, eliminate her. In 1678, Kimpa Vita would move to the kingdom's capital, Mbanza, Congo, where she would settle. She would give birth to a son, which came as a relief given that she had had 2 miscarriages and lost 2 marriages as a result of those miscarriages. The Catholic Church used their king, King Pedro IV, to arrest Kimpa Vita and accuse her of using dark forces, which they called Kidoki. Kimpa Vita was found guilty of those accusations, and on the 2nd of July 1706, Kimpa Vita, together with her son, were lynched as the priests and the higher authorities in the church watched in admiration. But one thing remained. The death of Kimpa Vita did not cause the kingdom to collapse immediately. Rather, it led to chaos as many people went back to worshipping their god. In my next video, we'll be talking about Samora Machel and his influence in Mozambique. But before that, make sure you are subscribed to this channel because more videos will be dropping. Goodbye and see you